Hey guys, welcome to Premium Picks. Tonight we are going to break down UFC Fight Night, Beneil Dariush versus Arman Tsarukyan. We're going to give you our full card predictions. Before we get into it, please like and subscribe, and let's break this card down. First fight of the night, we got 6-0, Jamie Lynn Horth versus Veronica Hardy, 7-4-1. Odds are pretty much a dead pick'em, very, very even here. Hardy came back after a long layoff, looked great against Juliana Miller, but then Miller went on the next fight to get killed first round. So I don't know if Hardy looked great or if Miller's really bad. It's hard to say. I think this is going to both girls kind of like to grapple, to be honest. I think it's going to be Horth being stronger and being able to be on top, or like Hardy might have a little bit better submissions, but I don't know if she's going to be able to get top position. I'm worried here. The fight's going to be a pass for me personally. I'm just no confidence. What do you think?
Well, Hardy looked good in her last fight, let's be honest, but that was against Juliana Miller, who's looked bad overall in all of her fights, right? Who she lost that she went on to lose that next fight. She lost that huge fight against Veronica Hardy as a big favorite. It was like minus 400 or something like that. Horth, who'd she fight? Kaylee Cohen. Cohen was supposed to take her down, was supposed to like control her, but she showed good grit. She's a fellow Canadian. She showed good grit, get-ups, ended up winning the striking exchanges there. So there's a big disparity in the striking. It's only one fight from Horth, so it's a little skewed. But even with a slow-paced Haley Cohen, who does have a slow pace, that was a slow-paced fight. She was throwing about 5 strikes a minute to Veronica Hardy's 3. And that's a bigger, wide range because Hardy has fought in the UFC before this against... It's really that loss against Bay Malecki, because Bay Malecki is not that good. I don't want to say she stinks, but she's not that good. What she had over Hardy was that her size, and she could push her up against the side. And like you said, I think that's the game plan here. The size matters. Hardy gets pushed up around the cage, grinded out. Horth showed that she can grind out. It's a low confidence pick, but I think Horth continues to be undefeated here. Everyone's reading a lot into that Hardy last fight. I see a lot of people picking her. I'm just not on that train. I'm gonna go with Horth, the fellow Canadian.
All right, moving on. Another one that I think is fairly tough to predict. We got Wellington Turman versus Jared Gooden. Turman 18-7, minus 188. Jared Gooden 22-9, coming in at plus 162. Gooden's not great. I mean, neither of them are great, really, but Gooden gets hit too much. Turman's not like some huge finisher. I don't think he's going to sleep him, but I think he can pick him apart from the outside. And you know what? He might even be the better grappler here as well. I don't know how Gooden wins this fight other than maybe laying on top or something like that, which I don't really see happening. So I think Turman wins. I like the overs. I don't see anything quick happening. Don't love it. Not a high confidence pick. What do you think?
Well, Turman fought Randy Brown and Gooden fought Randy Brown, and their fights went 2 different ways. Turman was supposed to showcase some nice, crazy good striking that he's been learning and all that good stuff in that last fight, and I quite didn't see it. I didn't. But Randy Brown didn't look that great either. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong at all. But Turman didn't look like that anything different than his striking was beforehand. And I didn't see this new striking before because it was just like he had no striking. It was if he couldn't get you to the ground and tap you out, like you had a good chance against him. Gooden sometimes is low volume, but against Randy Brown, he threw 81 significant strikes. So it was a weird fight because Randy Brown really outstruck him at over 115, right? So it's hard to judge. Gooden's got that one-shot power. Turman has been known before to have a little bit of a glass chin. But Gooden also has been taken down 5 times in a fight, right? So pick your poison here. I mean, if Turman can get his wrestling and grappling going, I think this is a wash. I think he whips him on the ground. But there's always that puncher's chance where Jared Gooden can just put his lights out because Turman has shown a little bit of a propensity to have a tiny bit of a glass chin. I wouldn't say it's a full glass chin, but like he's been rocked before.
At 185 though.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's tough, right? I mean, for now, I think Turman can get the grappling going. Gooden's shown that he can be taken down and controlled on the ground. So yeah, I mean, but the odds are minus 188 right now. I don't like it. If it was closer, maybe less than -150, if some more money comes in Gordon, I might take a shot, but it's probably a pass. But I do like Turman.
Yep. All right, next fight of the night. I think we're finally going to get some excitement here. We got Potieria coming in against Rodolfo Bellato. Ihor 20-4 plus 300. These odds are very wide. Rodolfo Bellato 11-2 minus 400. Bellato 11-2. His 2 losses. He was knocked out quick in both of them, both against Vitor Petrino, who's an absolute beast. So you can't really fault him. Petrino is an animal. That guy's a scary, scary guy. So nothing wrong with those losses. Looking at both these guys' records, they're both finishers. Like, Ihor is not good, but he does finish fights. When he wins, he either knocks you out or he submits you. And then you got Rodolfo here, and when he wins, 10 out of 11 are finishes. So depending on the props when they come out, I'm going to be looking at the unders and seeing if I can get some kind of value there, because I ain't playing Bellato at -400. I'm not. If his finish prop comes in decent, okay, maybe I'll take that. Or if I can just get like fight under 2.5 or something like that, somewhere decent, I feel very confident that this fight will not go the distance. What do you think?
Fight's not going the distance. These guys don't finish fights because they're actually both not that great. Bellato seems to be the better of the two. Losing to Vitor Petrino is no small task. He's a pretty good fighter, and that guy has shown that he's just not a knockout artist. He's actually shown that he's a very good mixed martial artist. So yeah, that works well for Bellato. But -400 it's at now. I just looked. That's not what I'm looking at for this guy. I mean, he should have the volume. He should have the better striking. For now, his takedown defense is 100%, which is pretty damn good, seeing that he went up against Vitor Petrino, where he took him down. And Petrino's shown that he has a lot of propensity to take a lot of guys down in the UFC, like 3-4 takedowns a fight, right? And control them on the ground, right? So that's good. That's probably the best part here, because what's Potieria gonna do? Stay on the feet? I mean, him beating a shell of the Shogun and then losing in 13 punches to fucking Carlos Oberg, like, no, but for all intents and purposes, Bellato should blow him out of the water. The power's there, the volume's there. He's got the volume, and that's the key here, the volume. Should be some sort of TKO, I think. KO. Yeah. Whatever. I don't know what the prop's gonna be like though.
All right, moving on. We got Stevie Garcia, 14-5 plus 187, coming in against Melquizael Costa, 20-6 minus 225. I'm rooting for Garcia. 14-5, 11 knockouts. This guy likes to bang, but he's very inconsistent. I never know who I'm getting. He's even a little bit chinny, dare I say, but you know what? Costa's not a puncher. Costa's the exact opposite. He kind of wants to grind you. He's going to want to clinch, kind of hold you against the fence, maybe trip you down and work from there. I do think Costa probably can grind this out. I don't like him at -225. I'm rooting for the Garcia knockout. I think if you're on the Costa side, it's almost like an over. Costa over 1.5, or Garcia catches him, which he probably doesn't. I'm just rooting for that. Don't think I'm going to play it, but I think Costa's going to grind this out. What do you think?
I think Costa's the better, well-rounded, better mixed martial artist in this case. His loss to Thiago Moises in his first fight, he got taken down, but I don't see Steve Garcia chasing too many takedowns here. And then who's the second fight he had? It was with Austin Lingo. He took him down 3 times, broke him, and eventually, won that fight by unanimous decision. But like quite great. It was like I struck him 100 to like 40, took him down 3 times, and I see that could happen here. Steve Garcia in his first fight, I believe it was Luis, the guy that looked Violent Bob Ross, whoever that guy was, Luis.
Pena.
Pena took him down, backpacked him for 3 rounds. It was a boring ass fight, but he's shown that he can be taken down. Even that fight he won against Nurembeke, he was pretty much taken down at will in that first round and controlled. So Costa's the more technical guy. Costa's the guy with the better striking. Costa's the guy with the better ground game. Costa's the guy with the better wrestling, but Garcia's the guy with the gall, balls, power, and shit you can't put like a stat to.
You can't count it out.
But -225 and a guy that should win in anywhere this fight is better for me. I personally like Costa in this spot, But it wouldn't surprise me if Steve Garcia comes out and finishes him or stops him or do something. He'll come out and balls to wall, right? That's just the way he fights, right? I feel like Costa can be the matador to the bull, if we're going to put it that way.
All right, next fight. I'm actually looking forward to this one. We got Joe Solecki, 13-3 plus 110, coming in against Drakkar Klose, 13-2-1 minus 138. This is a very classic striker versus grappler. Drakkar, very good striker, very good, but very inactive. We haven't seen him recently. I don't love all that time off. Don't know what he's really been up to. And then you got Joe Solecki, good grappler, not great on the feet. You know what? I think Klose is a great fighter. I think he could be higher up in the ranks if the guy just fought more often, but he doesn't. So that's why the fight worries me. But I think Klose can keep it standing, pick him apart, beat him up pretty badly on the feet, I think. I don't think Solecki's going to be able to get the takedowns and work his grappling. But again, too much inactivity, a lot of question marks. I like the style clash. I'm going with the striker here. What do you think?
It's funny that you said striker because Drakkar Klose actually has a pretty decent wrestling background there. I was looking into it. So he does have a decent wrestling background and also sports about a 70% takedown defense in the UFC. And I personally think he's fought the better guys. And not that it's like an extensive amount of better guys, but he has fought the better guys. He's been up against a Dariush, probably had Dariush rocked in that fight and went toe to toe with him. Probably not the smartest thing in the world to do, but like he still was like, he was technical enough to rock Dariush, who's I would say a premier fighter. We'll talk about him later on in this cast. But yeah, so that's where I see it. And it's the striking, like you said. There's a big disparity. Joe Solecki is pretty lost on the feet. For as good as a ground fighter he is, because he's a great ground fighter, he's pretty lost on the feet. And if he can't get that takedown, I don't know, man. I mean, he might get a takedown. He might get one round here, maybe. But Drakkar Klose has shown that he could get up. He's shown that he can hold it off. And the striking's it's like 5 strikes per minute almost to 2.3 strikes per minute. Like, there's a huge disparity, man. Like, the striking's
Drakkar's a good fighter, man.
No, but like you can say, oh, the grappling's pretty close or whatever, but like the striking's there's a disparity. It's a bit, and and the game plan's pretty simple. And I think with his background in wrestling, I lean close. I lean close a lot, actually.
Yeah, I think he's great value at minus 138 personally.
Me too.
All right, moving on. We got Cody Brundage, 9-5 plus 187, coming in against Zach Reese, 6-0 minus 225. Zach Reese, 6-0 and all 6 by first round finish. So the guy's a finisher. He finishes quick. Cody Brundage, every time he loses by finish. For me, it's a Zach Reese finish. I don't know what that prop's going to come in at, but I'll be betting Zach Reese to finish this fight. Maybe even first round. I mean, he's 6-0, 6 first round. Like, Brundage, he's a quitter or something, man. And when he loses bad. I expect him to lose here. Reese can punch. He can grapple. He's decent at both. So I don't know if I feel confident enough to just say he's going to choke him out or he's going to knock him out. It could go either way. But I just think one way or another, he will find that finish. What do you think?
I think Cody Brundage's IQ is what? He loses fights, right? So, like, he's such a good fucking wrestler. But he has such a shit gas tank, like, and then he doesn't wrestle when he's supposed to wrestle, and then he strikes when he's supposed to wrestle, and then when he's supposed to strike, he wrestles. It's just like ridiculous, man. Like, supposed to strike against Rodolfo Vieira, and he wrestles, pulls guillotine, some questionable decisions. For all intents and purposes, probably should have lost that fight to Malkoon, but he played the Aljo card there. I'm not fully fledged on Zach Reese. This wine was a huge underdog to now a moderate to high favorite. So I think he beats the crap out of him. And the problem is Zach Reese goes right after people, and Cody Brundage will like welcome that with like open arms. We should probably try to take him down because we don't really know what Zach Reese has in like way of cardio, do we? We don't really. We don't. So, I mean, the path for Cody's there, but I'm not sure he's going to use it. So Zach Reese for me, but I'm not going to throw too much tickets on this guy.
Oh, full disclosure, I'm not betting because Zach Reese is very good. He's not. I just think Cody Brundage is terrible. He finds a way to lose all the time. And
Like,
then he's facing someone who's a finisher. So at some point, he's going to make a mistake and get finished, I feel like.
I agree. IQ is fucking shit.
All right, moving on. We got Misha Tate coming back. I thought she retired, but she's back. 19-9 plus 130, taking on Julia Avila, 9-2 minus 160. Now, Avila, is she great? Absolutely not. It feels like it's a fight that classic Tate might have been able to win. Maybe she could take her down and grind it out from the top. But Avila 9-2, 4 knockouts, so she's definitely the better striker. Not phenomenal by any means. She's not phenomenal, but Misha Tate's just terrible on the feet. And I'm just not so sure that Tate has it in her to grind out a 3-round wrestling clinic here. So I do agree with the odds. I don't trust Misha Tate. I don't love Julia Avila, but I think Avila probably will get it done. Tate's a tough girl, so she'll probably hang around. The overs, I think, are live. Give me Avila over 1.5. What do you think?
Well, Villa's been off for 2 years, so I thought, what the hell is going on? So looked into it, but life took over for a bit for her. So that's cool, man. Looks at somewhere for old fights. Like she wins the fights she's supposed to. The only one she's lost in the last like 4 was against Sajara Eubanks, and she got grinded out there. And so yeah, do you expect Misha Tate's wrestling to be up to par? Like she's looked slow in her last couple fights against Ketlin Vieira. She wasn't even that close, and then Lauren Murphy just owned her. Murphy's an older lady, right? And owned her, and so she's looking to step slow. Maybe she's just. I think she's fighting for a paycheck. To be quite honest with you, Avila. I mean, if she didn't take 2 years off, and this was right after her last Stoliastenko fight, she probably would be in like the minus 250s, 300s here, right? So minus 160, it's baked in that she's been off for 2 years, so you don't know exactly what's going on, blah, 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 blah. She's minorly the better striker. She's, I think, in a better spot in her career at this point. By no means are they both going to be contending anytime soon. So Misha just looks slow, and I think it's not all there mentally. I mean, people will be like, people get on us on in the comments sometimes like, oh, how do you know their mental state? I'm saying it doesn't look like she's there mentally. Like she's not the same Misha Cupcake Tate that tapped out. Was it Holly Holm for the title, or was it Holly Holm? I think it was in the 4th round after getting her ass beat. So I'm gonna pick Avila. I think minus 160 is probably a gift at this point in Misha Tate's career. So do with it what you may.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We got the last prelim. We got Clay Guida. Jesus, 38-23. Good for you, Clay. Awesome, man. Fucking legend. 38-23 plus 240 coming in against Joaquim Silva, 12-4 minus 300. I missed the boat big time on this because like a week ago, these odds were actually much closer, and I wanted to be all over Silva. And I still think Silva wins this fight. I think Silva's the better striker. And he's got a good guillotine, whatever you want to call it. Clay Guida loves those double legs, loves sticking his neck out. So I could see him getting choked out here, or he's going to get beat up on the feet. So it's up to him how he wants to lose this fight. But I got Silva all day here. I just wish I got in earlier, like a week ago. It was like literally like minus 160. And I had it like put on paper, oh, I'm going to hammer this line. Minus 300. Obviously, I don't love that now. But I think he gets this done. And dare I say, he may probably finishes maybe. What do you think?
I don't like Joaquim Silva. I don't,
That's cool.
I don't think he's amazing by any means, but it's pretty hard for me to put money on a 41.98-year-old Clay Guida because he turns 42 very soon. Yeah, it's tough. Clay's not a banger, and when he does bang, he usually loses. And he's been part of some of the greatest fights I've ever seen in my life. So thank you, Clay. But I think it's just more of like he's past his prime, past his time, past everything. And as for as flawed as Joaquim was against Tsarukyan, he gave him one hell of a battle. And if he fights to 3/4 of how he fought against Arman Tsarukyan in his last fight, he'll beat Clay Guida pretty handily. I think he finishes him. Clay, as you get older, the chin gets worse, and guys that were durable, guys like the Frankie Edgars of the world that you're like, oh, they can't knock him out, and they get knocked out now. It's not the same, guys. Joaquim Silva. I'm not going to think too
Hey,
hard about this. I'm not
the
going to.
whole world's with you, Clay. The whole world's rooting for you. Just hard to pick you.
Yeah, buddy. I'm sorry.
All right, guys, moving on to the main card. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe. It's Saturday night. I'm going to have a quick little crown here. First fight of the main card. We got Huneli Soriano versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Soriano 9-3, minus 275. Don't like those odds at all. Dustin 14-5, coming in at plus 225. Here's the thing. Soriano hits like a truck. He can knock out anybody. He absolutely can, but he's not really great. He's just a beast. He's a hard hitter. Dustin, not really great at anything either. His performances are very inconsistent. He's looked decent at times, and he's looked terrible at times. So, I mean, sure, if it was a pick'em, I'd say Soriano probably knocks him out, but I just don't have confidence in Soriano. Like, I can't be confident in him. Technique's not great. He just hits hard. So I think Soriano wins. I'm not playing him at minus 275. I think the odds are too wide here personally. What do you think?
Yeah, that's the one I'm having a little bit of trouble with. I don't know how to play this fight. I'm probably passing this fight. I'm gonna pick Soriano. He's the better striker. If he can keep this on his feet, he does have a Division III wrestling background. He should win. Stoltzfus has been pushing the wrestling a little bit lately, but he hasn't been winning even when he does push the wrestling. And he won. What did he win against? It was like 1 fight ago, like 2 fights ago. Dwight Grant, big deal. He lost against a boost. He couldn't push the wrestling there. I don't think he could push the wrestling here. If it was anybody better than Dustin Stoltzfus, then I fade Soriano at these odds. But I guess he's playable. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know. This fight's not.
It shouldn't even be on the main card, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right, the next 4 fights, I like every one of them. So this is a great fight. We got Sean Brady, 15-1, the favorite, minus 125. Coming in against Calvin Gastelum, returning to the 170-pound division. Ultimate Fighter winner, 18-8, plus 100. I like Calvin Gastelum here. If he can make weight, if he can be ready to go, I mean, at his best, he's a great wrestler. He can use it to keep the fight standing, and he's a way better striker than Sean Brady. I mean, Bilal Muhammad, great fighter. I don't want to take away from him, but he fucking knocked out Sean Brady. Calvin Gastelum, he's a way harder hitter, way faster hands. So I like Gastelum way more on the feet. If he's in shape, if he's ready to go and can stuff the takedowns for 3 rounds, I think he lights him up on the feet. I like him at these odds. At dog odds, I'm playing Calvin Gastelum. Maybe that's just me. What do you think?
That's me too on this person one personally. Yeah. So Calvin's got the chin. I think he's got the striking. The wrestling is pretty. Calvin's a pretty good wrestler too, right? And he keeps it off the ground more than likely. I don't exactly know what his takedown defense is, but like he is a way better fighter, striker in this case. Like you said, he got outstruck by Bilal Muhammad there, Sean Brady. So like that's kind of gross, right? But yeah, I mean, I guess Sean Brady's going to push a little wrestling. If he can get the wrestling going, he has a shot here. But yeah, I mean, I think the complete fighter is Calvin. If he fights anywhere as close to as he looked against Chris Curtis there in his last fight, then yeah, weight cut's an issue. Got to make sure that he gets the cut. I would wait till weigh-ins to hammer this line personally. But yeah, I like Calvin. I like him a lot here.
He's been subbed twice, I think, by Jack Hermanson, which was like a fluke, like really quick ankle lock or something. And Chris Weidman eventually got him down and tapped him back when Weidman was good. So I don't know. I'm hoping he can stuff the takedown and light him up.
The guys that took him down were like all Americans, right? They were like Robert Whitaker and your boy there that you said, Chris Weidman. Other than that, the guy stayed off the ground, right? So
all right, moving on to the featured fight. Another great fight. We got Rob Font, 20-7, coming in at minus 160, taking on the former champ, Davison Figueiredo, 21-3-1, coming in at plus 130. Rob Font's got a hell of a chin, so I think he's going to survive the onslaught. And Figueiredo is a notorious gasser, like notorious. So it pains me to say this, but I think Rob Font's going to take over late in the fight and maybe even finish him later in the fight. And I'm a huge Figueiredo fan. I just think the guy is like savage. He just reminds me of like a movie villain, like just a bad guy. I don't know. I just really like Figueiredo. He's a finisher. He goes for it. He's exciting. I'm rooting for Figgy. I think Font's going to survive and then get it done. How do you see it playing out?
I see it playing out like the Marlon Vera versus Font fight. Minus the slight cardio dump that Figueiredo had. But against Brandon Moreno in, I can't remember which one of their fights where it actually went to decision. Figgy didn't look so bad, and he employed a
Right.
little bit of the wrestling, right? So if he can mix it up here, I like it. Problem is you don't know which version you're gonna get it, but like you know what? Like Figueiredo's actually accomplished a lot in the UFC, and he's a very good, powerful striker. And I think he has more power than Rob Font. And Rob Font doesn't use too many kicks as much as I'd like him to in his striking regime. So if he used a little bit of kick, stop that motion of that momentum, the motion of Figueiredo coming forward, like you know. And when it comes to the ground game, I think Figueiredo actually has the up and up on the ground game here. The grappling's better, and if he wants to play any wrestling, I think he's a better wrestler than Rob Font as well. So I'm not counting him out. I actually think plus 130 is good on him. Rob Font's chin is great, but he's been dropped several times, dropped 3 times in that Marlon Vera fight. So I think Figueiredo can drop him. And once he drops in that one round, that's his round. So you got to remember that fight. Font outstruck Marlon Vera like 200 and gazillion to 170 something and still lost fucking unanimous decision. So yeah, I mean,
One thing to note too, like Figueiredo, it's very, very well documented that his weight cuts have been horrendous. Like the last
cutting
5
less
fights,
this time.
this guy's like an absolute. What's that? Sorry.
Cutting less this time, isn't he? Or is he
Oh,
cutting
is he finally moving up here?
Yeah,
135. He was the
25.
125 champ.
Yeah.
Okay, so that could be good news because this guy has been a ghost on the scale.
Yeah, that's why I'm just like that's what I was thinking, right? You know what I mean? Maybe this is better for him. Maybe he's older now and he's like, oh man, my body can't handle that weight cut anymore, and he moves up.
It's a great fight. I'm a big Figueiredo fan. I think it's going to be a good one regardless.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
All right, moving on. We got a very new co-main event. We got Jalen Turner coming in on like a week's notice. Dan Hooker broke his arm again or hand or something. Jalen Turner, 13-7, is now a huge favorite, minus 250 on 1 week's notice. Huge favorite over Bobby Green, 31-14-1, coming in at plus 200. You know what? I'm still not sure how the hell Turner's going to make weight. This guy's notoriously missing weight and having problems here, and he's going to step in on 1 week's notice and make weight. I don't know if that's even going to happen. Maybe this is all a smokescreen and this fight won't happen. I don't know. But that said, I think Turner is a pretty tough matchup for Bobby Green. He's just so tall, and he's got the one thing that's Bobby Green's kryptonite. He's got that one-hit power. Like obviously he faded big time last fight. Dan Hooker took over late in the fight. But Bobby Green, I'm almost going to pick him against any point fighter on the feet. Like he's very good fighter himself, Bobby, but he likes to pick you apart, break you down. I mean, I know he got the knockout last fight, but generally he's a volume striker that picks you apart. Whereas Turner, even if he's getting picked apart, one huge head kick or one huge hook, and it could be night for Bobby Green, similar to the way Drew Dober did it. So I find myself favoring Turner here. I really don't think he's going to make weight, so I question this fight. I'll be rooting for Bobby Green. I just don't think this is a good matchup for him. What do you think?
Turner fucking really gassed out against Hooker, and it kind of sucks, right? And coming in on 1 week's notice, and Bobby Green, he knows, is gonna have the cardio, and I feel like it's going to be a good live betting spot for Bobby Green if he can get past the first round, because I think Turner's going to throw a kitchen sink at him in the first round. If he can get out of the first round, I think Bobby Green could take over later on in this fight if it goes into a late second to a third, and can finish Jalen Turner because Bobby will keep coming at him. But Bobby Green's IQ is the IQ of an ant, and he may not do that, and he may just like stand at kind of Roy Jones Jr. but he doesn't have Roy Jones Jr. kind of time here. It's only 3 rounds. I'm not picking Jalen Turner at minus 250. I'll tell you that much. If I'm going to play this fight, it's Bobby live, or I'm just going to pick Bobby to out cardio Jalen Turner. No, I'm not going to make this a style matchup because Bobby's probably got the more technical striking. He's got a chin of gold. When he drew Dober and Islam finished him up, right? And he took the Islam fight real quick, and Drew Dober has finished more than one guy in this UFC, his UFC stint. So I'm not picking Jalen Turner at minus 250 in a week's notice. That's all I'm saying.
Very hard to trust him after gassing out so bad and now doing it on short notice. Very hard to trust him.
Unparlayable, buddy. Either take a single and Bobby live, or you take Bobby. There's no way to play this fight other than take an underdog pick or
Yeah,
leave it.
I mean, see what a Turner finish pays, but I don't know. Right now, I don't know. Check in with us in a few days. Once the props are out, we do our next show. I'll try to find something. We'll look for stuff. And that brings us to the main event of the evening. We got Beneil Dariush, 22-5-1, coming in at plus 225. That's a lot of disrespect on Dariush. Or it's a lot of respect on Arman Tsarukyan, 20-3, minus 275. Tsarukyan has looked like a machine, cardio machine, nonstop, comes forward, wrestle point fighter, decision machine, boring. Nobody likes the guy. I don't like the guy. Says disrespectful things, calls out everybody, I don't know, he feels himself too much. Obviously, hey, he's a great fighter for sure. He got dropped last fight versus Silva. He had his moment where it looked like he was almost about to get KO'd. But he regained his composure and did what he did. He grinded out like he finished that fight. But he's a grind. Notoriously, he's a grinder. I'm not playing him at minus 275 money line. I don't think. I do think he wins. Absolutely. 5 rounds. Is he gonna grind Dariush for 5 rounds, or is Dariush kind of chinny? And does he finish Dariush, or does Dariush fucking do what the other guy couldn't do? And then does he crack him and finish him? I don't know. For some reason, even though a Tsarukyan fight historically would say decision or over, I'm tempted to say there's going to be a finish here because I'm not playing just a straight up minus 275. What do you think? How do you see it playing out?
I think Dariush can hold the wrestling back. Like, is Tsarukyan as good as Gamrot is as a wrestler? Probably. Is he gonna hang out on on top of Dariush? Dariush gonna let him hang out on top of him for 5 rounds? Because the guys that Tsarukyan takes down and holds down, like, I guess they're not I don't know. They don't even fight to get up. Dariush is, fights to get up, and when he gets finished, it's because he's chinny. But Arman's not that guy. He's not Charles Oliveira. He's not that guy. It is disrespectful to Dariush. I don't. He's a pretty good striker. He gets just as good wrestling, if not just as good ground game as Tsarukyan. I think his striking might be a little bit better. And if his chin holds up, I think plus 225 is fucking great.
I don't know if he has gas for 5.
Pardon me?
Does he have gas for 5?
He is pretty good at 3. So, I mean, remember was it Ferreira and all those guys that he took the 3 rounds, right? Like, you know what I mean? Decision, those guys. So, like, he didn't look tired in those fights, and he was using his wrestling in the 3rd round and shit. So I don't think Arman can just buzzsaw through Dariush. I just don't see it. And playing minus 275 on a guy was up to number 3 in the division. Shit, disrespectful. If this was in the minus 100s, minus 150, minus 160, I'd take Arman in a second. But plus 225 on a Dariush. I know he'll fight. I know he lost that fight to Charles, but he still fought his ass off, right? He didn't give up. Charles is still good. Everybody wrote him off, and Charles is still good, right? I wrote him off, and Charles is still good. And if I thought Beneil's going to win that fight, I think Beneil's going to win this fight.
Plus, I hope he does, man. I think the whole world's rooting for Beneil. I'm rooting for the guy.
225. I'm just going to take a lottery. I'm going to play it. I'm going to play Beneil Dariush. I will play it. I don't know when I'll play it, but I will play it.
Now, listen, Dariush, world-class ground game and heavy hands. Now, can he win? Absolutely, and I hope he does. I guess the question would be, if you're picking him and it's a 5-round fight, do you really think he's going to win a 5-round decision, though? Or like, I think if he wins, he finishes him.
Yeah, but plus 225 is pretty hefty, right?
It's already good. It's already good.
I feel like it's hefty enough that I don't have to go chasing anything. I'd hate to pick Dariush right and not get the right money on that. At plus 225. That's my only take on that. If you want to, like, fuck around with a few props, like a finish ticket for $5, throw 3 of them together. If you can get good plus money, then yeah, go ahead, do that. But if you're gonna play this singly, I won't mess around with anything and just go right at him. And If you think Dariush is going to win, as I do, I just think I just think there's no value on Armin at minus 275. You know what I mean? Maybe there was value at minus 150, right? You know, a pick'ems match. You know, kind of like the way that Charles and Dariush were lined last time, right? They were lined closely. How is Tsarukyan's win over Joaquin Silva any better than Dariush's loss against Charles Oliveira? Food for thought.
Yeah, no, agree 100%. All right, guys, there you have it. Those are the early predictions for this card. Props come out Wednesday. Look out for our next video. As soon as we have the props, we're going to analyze, we're going to find our spots, and we're going to come back and give you a bet for every single fight on that card. So look out for us Wednesday night. And other than that, we're going to do our diligence. We'll see you soon. Leave us a comment. Let us know who your most confident pick is, and we'll talk in a couple days. Peace.